Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis. Joining me today is my lovely co-host, Phil. How are you doing today, Phil?
Very good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so happy that you decided that we should do 3 episodes today because I really want to get through this. I'm enjoying it as a show. But it needs to end.
But we're ready.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, this has been a long race.
So long. And I think the one thing about it is like, with it being the normal seasons when it's like 13, 14, maybe 15 episodes, you know what I mean? Like there's a momentum and you're kind of getting on this ride with them. And then you're like, okay, someone's sleeping. Oh my God. Like I feel like it amps up the intensity. And with it being dragged out and pretty much can guarantee that every other leg is going to be a non-elimination leg. It's kind of like the wind just goes out of my sails. Like the momentum is over. Like there's no stakes anymore.
There's no surprise.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not sure why they're choosing to do things this way. I'm sure they have their reasons. Maybe they have to fill a lot of time frame or something like that. But why don't they maybe make the episodes, I don't know, do something differently than having so many non-eliminations and all these new players joining and all that stuff, because I don't feel that it's helping the momentum of the show or my enjoyment watching it or even my investment in these players. Because I'm like, I don't really know if they're going to go, so I'm not going to bother getting invested.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're at the point now where it's like, I don't know if they should do this again this way. I think that like maybe once with the COVID thing, we get it. But if you kept it going this way, I don't think that people would watch.
It's too long. It's too much.
It's too long.
Well, let's hear what the people had to say about our survey from last week, if you have that there. And we can see what's going on with the peoples.
Well, we didn't have tons of questions, but last week we asked from the episodes before, from 1 being not scared to 5 being terrified, how would you be in the asylum? We had a nice low 1.7, so not a lot of people would be afraid there.
No.
Not a surprise. Do you feel Ashley and Amanda made the right choice on who to give the passes to? People said yes. Based on that alliance, there's not really much that could have been done there. Are we, as an audience, done with the first class pass at this point?
Yes.
Yes. It was 100% yes. We're done with the first class pass. Did you feel the salvage twist was good? I'm trying to remember what it was. What was it? Do we remember?
Was it the balloon and that? Or was that the week before?
It might have been.
The balloon. Who's in the episode?
Well, right now it was yes. The salvage twist was good, and the sabotage twist got mostly no's. So maybe it was that.
It was the Cowboys only had to do half the tasks or half the time or half the challenges.
Okay.
Sorry. So what was the answer? I wasn't listening now. Sorry.
So more people liked the salvage twist. So I guess they liked that the Cowboys only had to do half.
I mean, I think I liked the twist. I just don't think I liked that the Cowboys received that twist.
Yeah. I think I would have liked it earlier.
And that's something that we said too. Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. Of the 5 remaining teams, which team would you have U-turned? Most people said MJ and Chelsea. So there you go. That's who got it. The hardest task was the sandstones across the town. Got the most votes. And were you happy to see MJ and Chelsea eliminated? Most people said yes. And who's had the best storyline? Chris and Aleisha got the highest score there. So.
I mean, yes, they are telling their story right now. Like if I'm looking at
true.
And edits, even though I'm not the biggest fan of theirs, they are the villains. They're also the underdogs at the same time. They're also like they do occupy a lot of the show's energy and things that are happening. They are the star of the season right now, whether I like them or not. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they were to win. just because
Yeah.
it's a lot about
It's kind of they're really the only choice now to concentrate on because the other side is 4.
Right.
So it's like you need another side, so it has to be them. So
exactly. So I don't know. Do you think it's because of the format?
I think because there's been so many episodes that you're like opinions change so much. I don't know. Like at one point I was all in on like Chris and Aleisha, and then I turned into more all in on the girls. I mean, at the beginning, I was all about the Super Seeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I don't know. It's sort of, I think maybe because it's gone on so long.
Well, and you know what actually else is that I think that having the first class pass also takes away from our rootable heroes as well. Like it's like, oh, they just got to like lazy around and you know they got to give the salvage and the sabotage, but they didn't get to play, so we didn't get to watch them do well again or not do well again. So we like it's just it takes away from us like seeing their journey because they're just out of the game. And so I think that actually that might also be why they're not as rootable or we don't care as much, is because we don't see their journey continuously keep going. It's like, oh, okay, they're back. Okay, sorry, so what happened with them? Do we like them right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, oh, right, okay, yes, them again. So I think that the first class pass is hurting us really rooting for people because we keep on forgetting about them.
Yeah, I agree.
And we're off their story. Anyway, so let's just get to episode 19. Yes, I said it, 19. They're all on a flight to Sydney, and then they're going to be taking a train to Newcastle. We have like a montage of all of the teams talking about what it would mean to them to win. And when they're saying all this, like, oh, it'd be so amazing to win. It was so amazing to win. I wrote down, I'm like, okay, so it must be a non-elimination leg. And it had to be. Like, if they're talking about winning, there's no stakes could be happening. Like, they're all saying in it. Did you think the same thing?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I knew. I mean, it's we just lost the team anyway. So it's like, oh, the next episode, non-elimination. Like, it's so obvious.
So true. So what they need to do though is find the station master, and they are going to be learning a tap routine at Steelworks by the Tap Dogs. So what are you? Have you ever seen any tap shows? Have you ever taken tap dancing lessons? What is your level of tapdom?
Oh, wow. The only tap that I've really seen would be like musicals on Broadway. Probably. I saw Thoroughly Modern Millie, and they had a lot of tap dancing in it.
So how do you think you would have fared at this challenge then?
I don't know.
But you
I
can
like
dance,
to dance.
right?
So, yeah, I like to dance. So I think could be okay at it. I wouldn't be afraid of doing it. And both of us have had like music background too. So
I used to tap when I was younger. I still have tap shoes. I should have worn the tap shoes today. Be like, flap, heel, flap, heel, flap, heel. I mean, it was a very easy routine. When they do it all together, it looks like it's more difficult. When you're hearing all the sounds, it seems a lot more difficult. But really, they were doing very, very basic steps. Very easy to remember. Like these were like 4-year-olds. This is what you teach a 4-year-old in like tap class. So it wasn't actually difficult, but it looks a little more challenging, obviously, when people are doing it in sync, like, you know, in rhythm. But I was like, that's fun though. I thought it was a fun dance challenge.
Oh yeah, it was great. And I mean, they made it look fun with the background, with the sparks and all that fun stuff going on. Yeah, it was probably a good show.
So I was misled because I thought that they were going to be tapping beer, because I believe that Newcastle is actually a beer as well, or like a branded beer. I feel like I've served a Newcastle like an amber beer. I feel like it. I feel like I was used to serve it. It's kind of like a red beer.
Would that be Newcastle? Isn't there Newcastle in England? There is, isn't there?
Probably, yes. And I feel like Wait, that's Elephant and Castle. Anyways, I'm thinking, but there is a new. I think there is a Newcastle beer. I'm going to look this up before I.
All right.
Newcastle beer. Anyways, I was thinking when they're saying like, oh, they're going to have to do tap. I was like, that's what my first instinct was. There was tapping beer, so I was surprised that they were going to tap dance, and I was so confused though because I'm thinking that they're tapping beer when I was seeing all these sparks and they're at this like steel mill. I'm like, what are they like? What? How's this working? Yes. Okay, I'm right. Yes, Newcastle Brown Ale. Boom. I knew it. Because I think we served it at the pub that I used to work at, and so I used to make black and tans with them, which is I forget now, like Guinness and a tan beer. I think is black and tan. Nice. Okay, so good. I'm not completely off the mark here. Phew. So the 4 teams have named their alliance the Awesome Foursome, and this does not include Chris and Aleisha. What do you think about this as an alliance name?
As an alliance name, well, okay, why are we only hearing about this now at the Final 5? Like, I mean, it's kind of silly. But no, I don't like it. It's not that fun.
It's not. But I was wondering if it was like an actual thing or if they just one person said it. And then later on the episode, I think it was the Super Seeks that called them the Awesome Foursome as well. So I'm like, oh, this is a thing. At first I was just like, oh, it's just like saying like, yeah, we're the Awesome Foursome. And I was like, is that an alliance name? And then now I know that I think it's what they call them. We learned that the Seeks have never heard of the Tap Dogs. They were definitely very confused as to what it could be when they're in the taxi.
Some people thought there were dogs.
Exactly.
Which would have been fun. That would have been fun to watch. Dogs with tap shoes.
And you have to like train a dog to like do some tap. That would have been pretty good. So obviously Aleisha is a tap dance teacher. And so she actually is trying to show Chris some basic moves in the taxi. So I thought that this was a good plan because Chris is definitely not very good with dancing. And so getting an idea of what types of moves, like a flap, a shuffle, is going to be things that they're going to be using for sure. So just being familiar with that, I think is going to be very helpful for them just to be able to pick up the steps. Because she'd be like, okay, so now flap, step, flap. You know what I mean? Like, and so just having even like the language and knowing what kind of steps to expect, I think it was a really good idea, even though they're just in the taxi cab, just to get them a little bit more familiar with tap knowledge and language.
Oh yeah, I think that anytime you can get information beforehand, if you think you know what the task is going to be, and plan it out. Give that info, because who knows? They could have got there and maybe they opened up a clue that said Roadblock, and then he had to do it or something. Like, yeah, pass that info on.
Absolutely. So the Cowboys, Skye and Jake, and Ashley and Amanda, they all get lost on the way to Tap Dogs. So basically, did they get there first? Aleisha and Chris, I think, got there first, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
No, hold on. No.
The
Seeks got there first, and then
got there first. Yes, and then them.
And then them, but she teaches them, and she just like picks it up really quickly because I said it was pretty basic steps. It's like step to the side, shuffle, walk in a circle, ta-da! Like pretty easy. But she was able to call it out to him, and I think that that's really helpful for Chris to be able to pick up the steps, is that, you know, that she's calling and he's just following. And so it would have served them at the sabotage for these dance challenges, or that she couldn't speak, or one of these people couldn't speak, because that would really put it right in there.
Yeah.
Teamdom. Definitely. So Chris and Aleisha go. They get it on their first attempt, which was pretty impressive, especially considering Chris can't dance at all, and he looks like okay, like looks terrified.
Yeah. So I know last week we were really going on about all the food challenges. What do you think about all the dance challenges?
I was annoyed by that, and so somebody called it out as well. I think it was maybe the girls. So somebody said like, oh, we do like 2 dance challenges in a row, which is also a good opportunity for Chris and Aleisha, who tend to excel in dance challenges because of Aleisha's expertise. And so I don't really get why they couldn't have thought of something else to do.
And I'm positive like all of this is all planned out beforehand and everything. Like I'm not one of those conspiracy things that like, oh, they did this for like it's all planned. But realistically, like, could they not have come up with something else? Like, it just feels like through this race they've had somebody who's coming up with these challenges, and they're very narrow-minded on the challenges. Like, so
where they're going to be going, so info tells them that they have to go to the alley stables, and they have to sign up between 8:30 and 5. And so the Cowboys, well, this is a little bit later, but they were thinking like, oh my God, we're something we can excel in. You know, we're just going to be stable there, that maybe we're going to be riding, or maybe we're leading them or something. I mean, why couldn't they do that? Why couldn't they be like, learn how to do a canter like around a thing and jump over a little thing? Like, I don't know, something or something else.
Or dress the horse or something.
Wash the horse they did last season.
Right? Like something.
Fit them for horseshoes. I don't know what's difficult or what could be dangerous to a horse, so I'm not sure. But I don't know. I would be difficult to fit a saddle on a horse. I don't know how to do that. Dress up like jock. I don't know. Play polo. Like, I don't know. There's so many things that they could have done that I don't know anything about, that I'm sure that some of them might be okay with and some of them not, as opposed to what they actually are going to be doing, which was getting on a hobby horse, which is basically a broomstick with a horse's head on it, and they're going to be doing some formation dancing and galloping with a hobby horse. So I take it that you weren't a fan of this next, I guess it was a detour?
I didn't get it. I don't get it. Like, I don't get what was the challenge in it, except for, well, I guess the map and learning the routine is the challenge of the whole thing. But I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think like, is this like, it didn't feel like the Amazing Race.
And my other question too about that is, so there was a sign-up board. So Chris and Aleisha got there first. The Super Seeks, they get the tapping on their second attempt, so they get their second to the board. And the girls didn't do very well. They're not really good dancers. So this is one weakness of the girls, is that they cannot dance at all. And it's actually very surprising to see them be so awkward, because they don't look physically like they would be as awkward as they are, but they're very awkward, which is hilarious. And the Cowboys, so both the girls and the Cowboys got it on their 5th attempt. And so Amanda did school in Newcastle. I think the Cowboys have been to Newcastle before, so they're kind of familiar with the area. And so Amanda and Ashley end up still getting to the board in 3rd place, even though they were last to leave the other detour, if that's what it was. And the Cowboys are there fourth, and Skye and Jake, obviously, they take a damn wrong turn again, and they get to the board last. So they need to really, really work on their directions, because it's been very much highlighted in the last at least 6 episodes that they get lost every single chance they get.
And they don't seem to ask. They just seem to keep driving.
Well, one thing that I was saying is, I'm like, why maybe Skye-Blue needs to take the map, because it seems like she's always driving and Jake is giving directions or is looking for landmarks or whatever, and that isn't working. So have we ever seen Jake drive?
Switch it up.
Do you think he maybe can't drive?
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't remember him driving.
I don't think he's driven once. So
maybe he can't drive.
Maybe he can't drive. It's just so, I'm just like, why keep that dynamic if it's not been working for 2 months?
Yeah.
I don't know. So they're going to be riding the hobby horse, doing this pas de deux, which, step up to, there's have to be in sync. So I guess it's a little bit interesting. But maybe if they were like reciting something, I don't know. They could have done so many different things. it fell flat for me. It didn't really seem that complicated, but they're going to be judged on synchronicity, accuracy, performance flair, complicated routine. I didn't think it was complicated though. So, okay.
No. Yeah, and I don't even understand that last complicated routine. Didn't they all do the same routine?
Well, maybe it's complicated because like they had to like follow that map that you're saying, like the guide. I don't know.
Oh, maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Okay. Oh, this is my question.
It was a weird, yeah.
So they had the sign up board, and I believe Bo even states that they have to sign up between 8:30 and 5, and their time was important. But it didn't seem like it had any sort of factor. They were all able to practice at the same time in separate areas, and then they could just line up and go and do the task. So what did the 8:30 to 5 have to do with anything with the sign up board?
I know that they one by one went and picked up the horses, so maybe there was time between them picking up their horses. Like you'd see, like they didn't all go at the same time, so maybe there was like a 5-10 minute break between each one picking up their horses.
Like 9.5 hours?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Why?
Or 8.5, whatever. But like, it's just still weird. It's just, I just didn't understand why sign up board, but why did it have to be between 8:30 and 5? Did they think that people would actually be there for that whole day because they couldn't get this challenge? Like, I was just so confused why the time was emphasized when it had nothing to do with anything.
And it wasn't, because I mean they all lined up, and then it was just whoever's turn is next goes to gets their chance.
And it didn't seem like anybody of them were coming close to it closing. So I was just like kind of confused as to why it was important. So you didn't get any info there either. So Chris and Aleisha obviously are going to go first. She's pretty confident. And they didn't get it their first attempt, but they got it their second attempt. Also, everybody failed their first attempt. The Sikhs also got it their second attempt. And so did the Cowboys. They got it their second attempt. And then the girls got it after their third. And I don't know when Jake and Skye-Blue got it, but probably after their second or third attempt. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So it wasn't super difficult. I was surprised sometimes. I'm like, oh, really? They're going to get that one? Okay. I mean, I don't know. It's not perfect. It's still quite bad. So
I felt like it was one of those tasks that we see sometimes on the race where, like, you just go and attempt it because after you've attempted it a couple times, they're just going to give it to you. Like, get out of here.
It's like we might as well get our first attempt out so that, like, if there's any sort of improvement the second time around, they're going to be like, get up.
That was great.
And it wasn't even good, but they were being very serious, those judges. I wish that it was something else, but what can you do? Episode 19, they're running out of ideas. So Detour is going to be pit or paddle. So for pit, they're going to have 2 trays of, I guess it's $100 each, and they're going to have to remove the pits completely clean and separate them into pit and pulp. And then they have paddle, which is they take a paddle boat and they're going to grab some grapes, bring them back, and then they're going to have to crush them and make, I think it's 150 mils of liquid. So what would you have chosen?
I would have picked the olives because I would have worried about balance on the wine barrels. I would have been like, that's going to be not good. The only way to make that work would be somehow making that into a raft. I don't know if you could tie the barrels together or something like that, but
well, didn't Janelle and Brittany have to do that one? Like something like that where they're in like a barrel where they had to like I remember Janelle in front of Brittany and like rowing in a barrel. Am I just making that up?
It was in one of those round boats, those little boats. I forget what they're called, but yeah, it's like a basket. Anyways, I remember that. Yeah.
So we wouldn't do paddle. I mean, Detour, the pit one seems a little bit easier. It's just something like there's not that many variables. You don't have to worry about falling into the water. You don't have to worry about making multiple trips. So it just seems like it's just straightforward. Sit down, do it, and get it done. it might take a long time, but like you can just be consistent at it as opposed to like potentially multiple variables coming in to take a long time. So I agree. Yeah. I would have done Pit as well. So Chris and Aleisha get there first, obviously. And so they found a really good technique. And we hear the sound clip of Aleisha being like, oh, when everybody else gets here, don't show them our good technique, which I understand. I get it. But coming from her and just like, it just makes I roll my eyes. I'm just like, oh, God, Aleisha.
Yeah, it's one of those, she does that and you go, okay, I get why the other teams want you out. Like,
right?
I get it. But
I understand not sharing the technique, but something about her, it just doesn't land. You're just kind of rooting against her. I'm sorry, Aleisha. Sure, you're lovely, but these 19 episodes haven't made you that likable of a person. It's the edit. I'll believe it's the edit. Yes. So yes, obviously Skye-Blue and Jake get lost going to the paddle. So they end up switching that up and going to do Pit instead. So nobody ended up picking the wine detour. And I think it's for the reasons why I kind of stated is that like there's just like so many other variables that you don't know if you're going to be good at it to be fast. So you might as well just do something that's like you can be good. I think that what they should do though is have more of those like only 3 people at this detour or only 2, so it forces other people to do the other side because they created it. Like we want to see what the other side of the detour is if there's no U-turn. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and I think this is. I mean, obviously, this would have been a good one for a U-turn. Like. This really would have been a really good one. And this is when you could do a U-turn. Like, I think at 5 is a good time to do a U-turn. So they should have done the U-turn at this point. And made somebody go do both. Because it's non-elimination. At least it brings some tension. It brings somebody hates somebody. Yeah.
Please. I mean, like, I would have well, actually, I would have been interested to see who Kristen... Oh, wait, they didn't finish first at the end, did they? Right. Oh, no, they did. Oh, no, they did. Okay, sorry.
So who would they have picked? That would have been more interesting.
Who would they have picked? The girls, I think. Actually.
Probably the girls.
Yeah, that would have been good. That would have been good. Yeah. Missed opportunity, guys. Missed opportunity. So the Sikhs get there. They look over, they see Chris and Aleisha doing the smushing down and kind of rolling it out, pulling out the pit, and then just taking on any extra bits, which it just seems like, I don't know, I feel like that's instinctually what you would do. I was surprised by people that were just like, let me just peel this. Like, it just seems like that. I'd just be like, come on. Like, I feel like it was a pretty easy thing to figure out, but they copied Chris and Aleisha. And then everybody gets there. So everybody's copying Chris and Aleisha, except for the Cowboys, who didn't notice it. And they're just like, it's being very delicate, just peeling these poor olives. They had like this much done, and everybody was almost completed, even the people that got there before him or after him.
And they noticed. And they noticed that everybody was beating them. And they kept going. Like, they didn't, at that point, they didn't go, how are they doing this?
I was surprised that they didn't. They're just like super content with just being so chill about it. I was like, wow, like, come on, pick it up. Like, where's the fight? Figure out like why.
Although they probably thought it was non-elimination too.
Yeah, true. It's true. It's like, oh, there's too many people. We've gone too long without a non-elimination, so it's definitely going to be one.
The show ain't never ending.
How did you like Alicia's pun? Hey, Chris, I love you.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Are you going to say that to Ron today? What are you going to be like? Oh, that's so funny. You're so sweet.
All of you. Yeah, I'll get the olives out.
I do like olives, not going to lie. So Chris and Aleisha leave first, the Sikhs leave second, and the route info is that they had to go find a needle in a haystack. So they're heading off that way. The Cowboys finally notice people smushing it down, so they switched their strategy. But Skye-Blue Jake and the girls had already left at this time, so they're kind of last, switching their strategy when pretty much everybody's leaving. Yeah. And then they get their check, but they didn't realize that they missed one olive. And so they were just like, what? And I don't know, they had an audience of people noticing, it seemed. So they found the one last olive, and they finally finish. Okay, so we get to Needle in the Haystack, and we've seen this one on which season of Amazing Race was it? I'm sure you'll know.
Well, so season 6 was the original. Christy and oh my gosh, Lena and Christy. And they did that up in that was up in Sweden, I believe.
And how big was the needle? Do you remember?
It was a clue. They had to find the clue in the haystack. And I remember that I think she went for like 7 hours of doing it, because she was like the third team there, and then all the teams, and there was like lots of teams still left, and they all passed her. And then she was like in the night, and she was still going, but like it was kind of sad because they were like a really strong girl team, and you were like rooting for them. So,
and it wasn't on a limb.
It was on a limb. They were out.
Did she ever find it? I can't remember. Or did Phil go out and save her?
No. Phil went out and said everybody's checked in. It is an elimination. You're out. Like, yeah.
I kind of remember it, just like very loosely, dark out, and like.
And then they did do it. I believe in season. For some reason, I think it's season 15. They do it as a switchback. So I'll look back at a one that had already taken place. I think they did it actually at the exact same location too.
I feel like that makes sense. I feel like that's familiar.
I think it was season 15. Yeah.
So they brought it back, but they're actually finding a needle that's quite like a sizable needle, about like maybe a foot long, and like a knitting needle. And it's red. So it seemingly would be a little bit easier to find than the race clue, which could look a little bit like hay. Color-wise, it might not stand out as much. So I didn't think it would be that hard to find.
No. And the one that was on the original Amazing Race was they had like hundreds of haystacks to go through. Like they didn't get one each to go through. Like, so they had that same amount of hay in one, but like lots of them to do. And these people only had one to go through, and the item was a lot bigger and a different color. Like,
they went easy on them. Definitely went easy on them. I felt though Aleisha wasn't really putting a lot of energy into doing it. She just kind of like, like, come on, where's the urgency? But it's probably like they know it's a non-elimination, like you're saying, and that they don't really care. The Sikhs were kind of destructive and just kind of ripping things and throwing things around. The girls, like everybody eventually gets there, and the girls, they actually found the needle first. Skye-Blue and Jake thought that because they're usually quite lucky with these tasks, that they would be able to find it really quickly. But it actually was the girls that were able to find it, and they're going to be headed over to Hunter Valley Gardens for the pit stop. So I was really surprised that like they did so poorly in those 2 dance challenges, but they were still able to lead the haystacks and be en route to the pit stop in first place. So I was impressed.
Yeah, very impressed.
And then Chris finds the needle, and for whatever reason, I'm just like, I don't want them to find it. But he did. And so they're all running to the pit stop, and it's kind of like a maze, but the girls do get there first, and there's some sort of QT resort that they get to go to. And I find it really hilarious that there's so many like spas, trips, vacations, when we are in quarantine and lockdown for the most part, and
they can't
real vacations are happening yet. So it's just like,
down there they might be. I don't know. The ones that are out to Australia, they might be, because they are pretty. They followed the rules a lot better than North America.
Well, they just shut everything down for a month and a half, and then it subsided, and then they opened everything up realistically. Instead of like half shutting things down, but some of things open, but these are open, but these are non-essentials, but this is open, but this is not open. Like no, they need to do like a complete shutdown and contain. and then reopen when see fit. I think that all of North America really dropped the ball in handling this situation. Because like we should not be out for over a year, not being able to leave our house. Really, it's just bad management.
It's just baffling that this is still happening.
I don't even know what world am I in right now? Why have I not left my house? Like I was like thinking, like I'm a people person. I like leaving my house. I like doing stuff. And I was like the other day, I was like, oh my god, like I don't want to be around a bunch of people. Like I'm nervous to go outside.
Why would I do that?
Like my best friend asked, she's like, hey, do you want to come over and we'll do like a social distance hang in my backyard and maybe we can go inside for a little bit? And I was like, weird. Like, okay. I mean, obviously I'm going to go and hang out with her, but like she's kind of in my bubble. But like it was just still weird. I'm like, okay, I haven't really seen anybody in person in like 6 months. Okay, we'll try it. And when I last went for a walk with her, it was actually really weird because she was like the first person that I'd seen in real life in a long time, and she was just so 3D. Like I was like, wow, like you're so real, because I'm so used to seeing everybody in a 2-dimensional plane that like it was like I was on mushrooms or something. That she was so vivid. Like, so that's what's going on with me right now, guys. So they mentioned, though, that they have won 6 legs, these girls. So they definitely have been doing an amazing job on the amazing race. So they should be the target to get out if anybody wants a chance at winning. If they have a chance, you should be getting out those girls because they win a lot of these legs. And even ones where they didn't do well in, they're still able to come out on top often. So I'd be looking out for those girls for sure. So obviously Aleisha can't run to the pit stop, so Chris is carrying her bags and they get their second. Skye-Blue and Jake, they eventually find their needle. Same with the Cowboys, they found their needle. The Sikhs were left behind there and they couldn't find their needle. So third ends up being Skye-Blue and Jake, and fourth is the Cowboys. Even though they stepped at the same time, it seems as though, I didn't go back and look, but Skye-Blue might have stepped a little bit ahead. So Skye-Blue and Jake are third. The Cowboys find it before the Sikhs. Yeah, I guess I was surprised that the Cowboys found it before the Sikhs. I don't know what I was writing there.
Yeah.
So
the Sikhs were doing well.
I know.
Opposite. They were the opposite of the girls. They were doing so well this leg, and then.
Okay. So, what do you feel about those type of tasks? Because, like, it doesn't take any skill. It's kind of just like luck of the draw, a little bit of like where you're placing, where the sunlight is, like you just being able to see it, feel it. Like it's kind of unlucky if you aren't able to find it quickly. What do you think about if this was, spoiler alert, if it was actually an elimination round? Do you think that would have been fair? Kind of like how it was in season 6.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we've seen it. This far in, I don't know. It's tough. I don't like those random luck ones all the time. I think it sucks that they sort of already did this with the sugarcane task already, like finding something in something. Like, I don't know, sugarcane, hay, like what other farm stuff are we going to put little things in and try and find it? Like, we'll go into a cornfield next. Like, I don't know. Like, it just feels like, again, it feels like whoever designed all of these tasks, like, went through one season of the race and said, let's base everything on these. Oh, we're going to do 20 so many seasons. We're going to have to repeat some of these.
Like, there's so many things they could have done. It's so interesting. Yeah. I guess they're just not that creative, maybe. Or like maybe the guy got tired. I don't know, because like it's not that compelling to watch people not be able to find something. Like yes, obviously when it happened in season 6 and they repeated it because it was epic at those times. Yes, But like to see it again, it's just like for me, I like people trying to do something, and if they're not good at it, okay, that's one thing. But like, I don't need to watch somebody look for something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like why did they make like an epic challenge like where they have to like push all these different hay bales to spell out a word, or like that had like art on the side and they make a puzzle out of it or solve some sort of thing, right? Like a brain teaser. That's something that they could do with the hay, like that they could have done instead of just going, they've already done this on the race. Let's do this again.
Yeah, let's like just look for something. Let's watch people kick around hay and complain. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that they need to, maybe hire somebody new on the creative team.
Because was it the first or the second challenge where on the very beginning when they had that big ball thing and they're throwing it, like that seemed like, okay, there's going to be some great challenges, but they sort of with the challenges.
They're like, okay, so what else can we do here? Like. There's so much you can do here. You needed an Aquarius and an Aries to come together to figure this out for you, because I don't know, it must be like a boring person.
It's like they had a race set for like, okay, we're gonna do like 9 legs, and then somebody called them during it and went, "We need you to do 16 more."
And that guy like is not working for them anymore. So oh my god, it's so funny. So the Sikhs finally find their needle. They get to the mat. They're quite defeated. You could tell, I personally could tell that Bo was just doing a fake out here, asking them how they feel about being on the race. And I'm like, okay, Bo, like, you didn't sell it to me this time. I don't even think you sold it to them, but it was a non-elimination leg. So it's a pretty lengthy first, like episode 19, I would find, because like the episodes after that seemed shorter, but we'll see. So this is episode 20 now, starting right off with a roadblock. So who looks good in a suit? I think that would be you, darling.
All right. Sounds good.
You'd be excited to do that. They have to travel to Echo Point Lookout at Empress Tower or Canyon and rappel down a waterfall. So once you learn what you do you think that would have been a good decision?
It may have taken me a little bit longer because of the distance, but I would do it. Like, I think it would be great to do. I actually think that doing it in the water, that race would have been kind of fun. I've done mud runs before, so I can't, it is somewhat something that could be done. So, and it was a fun challenge. I like that challenge a lot.
So I've talked before about the time when I went scuba diving when I was 21 for my 21st birthday, but now I'll talk about this on that same trip in the Dominican Republic. So basically we start off on like a Jeep safari, and so we're all in Jeeps and we go and we're led by locals and they take us out and it's like a nice water area, and then we start climbing these like just mini little waterfalls. We're climbing here and climbing up and it's like super cool. We're seeing like the locals taking us up to like, it's really pretty with the rocks and the waterfalls. So we get to the very top. Like, we're doing this for like over an hour, and we're sitting in like kind of like a cave with just like water, and it was like all warm, and there was like natural light coming in. Like, it was really, really, really cool. And then they're like, we're all kind of looking around like, well, how do we get down from here? So it was all these rock slides. So like what we climbed up were actually the slides going down, and like that was kind of scary because it doesn't look very smooth, but it was actually smoother than we expected. So we slid down, and then we get to a 50-foot landing, and there was like, you got only way down is to jump. And so like, I'm not really afraid of heights and I'll just do something, but people were terrified, and the locals were just pushing them off and be like, just pushing all of us just off. And I'm like, I don't push me, I'll jump. And I just go and I jumped and whatever, and I got off the landing there. But like, it was just like it was so fun, so cool, and like they were just totally taking the piss out of us, being like, they don't know how they're getting down, they're jumping, and it was a high jump. So seeing this and them sliding and jumping, it really reminded me of that moment when we were climbing up these waterfalls. So I would have loved.
I will say that so I would have done anything that the instructor told me to do, but when Aleisha was like freaking out here about all of this, and then she went down that one little bit, that seemed more terrifying than jumping in the water. Like that seemed like claustrophobic.
I mean, she's lives in Australia. For me, I just assume that everybody that lives in Australia are like water babies and they just like hang out in the ocean all the time, because like there's so many people that are not scared of those like 30-foot waves and they're surfing. I'm like, that is something I will never do. I will never surf because that's terrifying to consistently be taken in the undertow and flipped around. Like that's very scary to me. So I wouldn't do that, but a lot of Australians they're born in the water basically, and they do a lot of water activities. So I was just surprised that she's so terrified of water, and it wasn't even like a high jump. Like it was like it's just, I don't know. I was so worried about rocks being at the bottom, and so I was thinking it was too shallow. And I was like, is that what it was? I thought that she was. That's what she kept saying. She's like, I can't see the bottom, and she's like, well, where are the rocks? And I was like, they're not going to make you jump on rocks. Like no, like they're not going to make you paralyzed. Like that's not the Amazing Races. But like, also though, is it possible to jump that hard to hurt yourself in like jumping that way? Like diving, you're gonna have a lot more like aerodynamicness, if that's a word. Yeah. And like I could see like diving down from 30 feet, how if it's too shallow that could be bad. But jumping like feet first, I just don't see how you would have that much like aerodynamics to go in and to hurt yourself in order to like I didn't see the logic. I was like, just jump, girl. It's like a puddle. Like just jump in elegantly. Like just like put both feet in and like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Just flop in. Don't do anything. Just jump. Don't complain and whine about it. I was so obviously irritated about that. Obvsies. Okay, so the first thing that I wrote though, when I saw, so the suit is a wetsuit, and that they're going to be, doing some rappelling and they're going to be sliding down these rock slides and jumping into coldish water. All I wrote was like, oh God, Aleisha's going to be cold because she decided to do this roadblock. I was like, that's what I thought it was going to be like. She's just like, I'm so cold, so cold. Like I thought that was what the problem was going to be. I forgot that she's afraid of water. So Amanda is the one that does this task. She finishes first. She's pretty great at a lot of things except for dance. And so she gets the next detour, which is going to be lunch or launch. And so for lunch, there's going to be 8 orders that they're going to have to take down and remember of these like petit fours and like small sandwiches and stuff like that for high tea. And the other one is launch. So they have to launch 5 puddings and catch them in a hat. So just to leave it off there, Amanda and Ashley, they choose lunch and they're on their way there. So the next thing I wrote was, I know Aleisha was scared, but I was rolling my eyes. Yeah. There was a lot of like, oh, come on. Just like okay, then quit. Then quit. Yeah. Like the guy was just like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you like, it's not that bad. Just go. It's easy. I'm gonna push you. I mean, he should have pushed her. Be like, sorry, buddy. Like, there you go. Skye managed to do it super well. Like, I was surprised that Skye did this particular one because, I mean, I guess they wouldn't have known, but like, he's super capable of rappelling, even only having one hand. So I was really impressed by that for sure. That rappelling, she didn't even stop her, which was pretty awesome. She loved this task. I believe she said that. No, she probably did. So back to the girls. So the girls are deciding, okay, would you have done this? To eat some of the food so they would know what it was that they were trying to figure out.
Yeah, I think if you had, if there was excess food in the back, yeah, that is a very smart strategy especially when you're hearing some of the things that are being ordered, and you're like, oh, that's a distinctive like smell or taste. Like that's smart to do. So I would have at least smelt them, but that was taking it to a whole nother. Like that was very smart. Like let's eat it.
And like even so much as when they finally figured everything out, they're like had some like scones, I think, in their pockets for later. Like they actually stole food from the Amazing Race, which is amazing. I'm all here for it. I wasn't surprised, but the Sikh and the Cowboys, they finished it. I don't feel like they really showcased them that much doing that task.
Not really. The Sikhs a little bit, but not really. Not too much.
It was I don't know who's. Oh wait, Jaskirat is the taller Sikh, correct? And Anurag is short. Oh, it's the other way around.
Other way around. Jaskirat did this task.
Oh, I thought it was. Because I thought they kept on calling him Jazz, which is the taller Sikh. Anyways, I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. So I just called them the Super Sikhs. I'm sorry. I should be paying more attention. So that's really bad of me. But after 19 episodes, you'd think that I would know. But I just been calling them the Super Sikhs. Or what about? Okay, we never talked about this. What about what is it? The princess and the, what do they call them? Aleisha and Chris, the princess and the something. Ooh. I wrote down somewhere that they call them that. Sometimes they have it even as like their title is like the princess and the.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh my god, I need to find it.
I noticed that they're writing that. Oh my god.
Yes, sometimes they do Chris and Aleisha, and sometimes they do the princess and the something and her husband, or princess and something. So hilarious. So anyways, so the Super Sikhs and the Cowboys, they do launch. I wasn't surprised by that. It just seems like it was a task for like guys like playing catch and catching things more than women do. So no surprise there. And hold on, did Skye-Blue and Jake also did launch. So the only people that ended up doing lunch was Amanda and Ashley and Chris and Aleisha. So Aleisha finally finishes it. They get to the lunch task, and obviously Amanda and Ashley aren't really that excited to see them, and Chris and Aleisha are just like know that they're not liked by anybody. So they are doing it. Chris and Aleisha, they seem to be like they would be good at it, but they actually failed at least the first one. Their first attempt, they failed. And same with the girls. They failed their first attempt, I believe. Yeah. But the girls got it on their second attempt. But it was a more challenging task than the launch. So the Cowboys are actually out first, and they're able to head over to the route info. They're going to be learning a hoop routine. So how are you with hula hoops?
I can do them.
Me too.
Yeah, no problem.
Me too. I did gymnastics, so
I would have loved the clowns, that's for sure.
Yeah, oh my god, I love clowns too. I learned how to be a clown when I was like 9 in mime class. No. I had to be a clown. Oh wait, you don't like clowns? I forgot. Oh. I'm gonna have to dress up like a clown for you. I forgot.
No, that's okay.
Get some balloons, like. So they're going to learn a hoop routine, and then there's a double hoop that was going to be the hard part, where it's a quite large hula hoop where they had to hoop and sink and get this around. It seemed like they were pretty lenient with the revolutions of that hoop, but I think they were supposed to do it 3 times. Sikhs were out second, and I'm lying. Wait, the girls seemed to get it their first try. Oh, so I'm wrong. Never mind. Did they?
Yeah, the girls got it pretty fast. They got to the hula hoop pretty.
Oh, I'm talking about that. That's why I'm like. Yeah. I thought I was talking about the lunch challenge, But no, I'm talking about they finished the lunch challenge. I guess they got the lunch challenge on their first try. I don't know. Whatever. They got out before Chris and Aleisha, no matter what.
Yes.
Chris and Aleisha were wrong. Oh, and that's that was the lunch challenge. They got their first try, probably because they heard what they had to say, and then they decided to like go and figure out exactly what it was by tasting all the food. And then when they went out, they were able to execute it on their first try. So that must have been what happened.
Which was smart. Yeah.
But Amanda, of course, has had experience with hula hoops, but not with routines. I was like, she has a lot of interesting life experience other than dance. Like I have a lot of dance type experience, but she has a lot of like everything kind of experience, like building skateboard ramps and like, you know, like just things that I just never have done before. So I'm kind of impressed by her, to be honest. And she seems to do all the tasks. How did you feel about watching the Cowboys and their awkward double hoop moment? It was so awkward. I was cringing.
They're definitely a lot closer after this race.
So it was just like I was like cringing. It just looked so awkward.
Yeah. It looked like they're like, okay, not enjoying this, but they're doing it.
Other awkward alert was Chris and Aleisha, like just like seeing Chris like behind her, like just so awkward, and I was like, oh awkward. God, I feel like I'm seeing too much. I don't want to see this. Like,
they're pulling back the curtain too much there. I don't want to know.
Happens in their love life. So yeah, they obviously eventually Chris and Aleisha finished the lunch task, and they get over there, and they were just so awkward to watch. But in the end, the Cowboys go and do it, and they get it seemingly their first try, and they were pretty good at the end. For what we saw, I was like, I thought that they were going to be terrible, and then they're decent. I was like,
yeah,
that's pretty
good. The Cowboys
good.
have probably been the most surprising out of all of them on what tests they do well on and what tests they don't. Because like we're really like, wow, they should be really good at this, and they're not. But then we're also like, they did really good.
I know. They're definitely an enigma. Absolutely. So they actually are smart, and they decide to get directions towards the roadblock. And so they are supposed to have the other teammate that didn't do the first roadblock, the rappelling. They're going to go to the Sky Bridge, which is 80 meters above ground, and they're going to have to walk across this ladder bridge.
So how would you have done on this?
I think it would have been fine. I mean, it doesn't seem that hard, and like I wouldn't be worried about like fear. Like there wouldn't be fear there. You know what I mean? Like obviously I'd be scared if I looked down and be like, oh, I'm quite high, but I wouldn't be. I feel like I would be able to execute. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I feel I have good balance. So, and like. Do they say that you can't touch it with your hands? Because, like, why did some people crawl? Some people would have crawled.
I don't know. I don't know why some people didn't bounce between them and with the rope, like using the rope and just, I don't know. Like, there was different techniques that I think could have been tried. But, yeah. So,
yeah, I was surprised that some people had some trouble with it. So Chris and Aleisha, they did the hula hoop. They didn't seem to really have any trouble with it. I think. I don't know. So we see the Cowboys. They get lost, though. So after they did get, like, I'm praising them on getting directions. They did end up getting lost. I think they drove past where they were supposed to turn. So then they had to go back. And so Amanda and Ashley end up beating them to the second roadblock. Yeah. The Sky Bridge does look a little bit shaky, so maybe that's where like trying to get your balance and you're being grounded might be challenging. So that could be where a little bit of the fear comes in. But I feel like it's a pretty straightforward thing. Just concentrate and just do it one step at a time and don't necessarily be fast. Because what's great about this is there's not multiple people doing it. They're waiting for you to finish. So it doesn't matter how long you take, really, because it actually just makes the person in last like further away from you.
Wait longer. That's right.
I would just be like taking my sweet ass
time.
Exactly. So Ashley goes, she's decent at it. Chris goes, he's decent at it. When did the Cowboys finally get there? I'm not sure.
The Cowboys got there second. They got there right after the girls.
Oh, and he was really shaky. I'm not sure who's who with the Cowboys. Is Brandon the one with the missing tooth? Or is that Jackson?
Brandon's the one with the missing tooth. Jackson it was Jackson who did it, right?
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
I believe so. And so he was having a little bit of trouble there for sure. More trouble than we saw Chris have and Ashley have. But he did manage to get across without falling. So he did decently well. So Jake's turn to go. And Jake is really bad. And right now I'm like in like oh boy, this is probably an elimination leg because I just had a non-elimination leg. I'm like, both these teams I want to stay. And Chris and Aleisha are like on their way to the pit stop right now. They're the only team that I really would want to leave. And so I'm worried now, and I see like Skye-Blue and Jake, my last team on my draft, they're kind of wobbly, or he's wobbly.
Yeah.
And then he actually does fall. And so then I was like, okay, well, the Super Seeks are going to come in fourth, and Skye-Blue and Jake are going to leave. And then the Super Seeks go and they fall. Wait, no, did it do it backwards? Who went first?
Super Seeks fall. And so then it looks like Skye-Blue and Jake might get ahead, but then he falls.
Correct. And so then when the Super Seeks go the second time around, they are able to complete it. And so Skye-Blue and Jake are going to be last here. But what we didn't talk about actually was Skye-Blue and Jake had a lot of trouble at the hula hoop, which is what really put them in really behind the pack there. We saw Skye-Blue having a moment at the hula hoop where Jake, hit her in the face at some point with the hoop and she kind of walked away, and he's just really not getting the feel for it or the rhythm. They're last out of there, and that's why they did end up getting to the second roadblock last. And so Skye-Blue seemed really disappointed. She wasn't pointing any fingers and she wasn't like making him feel bad, but you could see that she was really disappointed at the hula hoop and that it was something that she couldn't do and it wasn't her fault. Like she has seemingly been able to overcome a lot of things when it was her turn. And so I think she's just super frustrated that they're going to maybe be eliminated from the race because of her brother.
Yeah, I think in her head, she knew we're getting close to the end of the leg and she really wanted to make it to the finals. So she does not want to go home yet at this point. So she's seeing some writing on the wall a little bit, I think.
Yeah. So, they're leaving the pit stop, the roadblock last at this point. Did they show even the Super Seeks at the hula hoops? I didn't write anything down about them, but they probably just did fine, I guess.
Yeah, they did okay. They were struggling a little bit at the beginning, but they did okay. What the
elbow part?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a hula hoop here. I should have tried it and see if I could do it.
Put your tap shoes on and your hula hoop.
With clown makeup and like.
With clown makeup. We're going out with a bag next week.
Oh my God, should we? We could do something maybe. So they're all en route to the Lorella Amphitheater, and that's where the pit stop is going to be. It's going to be across from the Toy and Rail Museum is where you're going to find Bo. So whatchamacallit? So first place comes Ashley and Amanda. Did they win a prize? I don't remember them saying anything, and I didn't feel like rewinding. I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't remember if they won a prize.
It's probably a trip.
Yeah.
Trip to somewhere that they can't fly to.
Cash, maybe?
I feel like I'd have remembered if they said cash, but maybe not. Chris and Aleisha were second. The Cowboys were third, but they did get lost on their way there. And obviously fourth place is the Super Seeks. and 5th place ended up being Skye-Blue and Jake. And I think that they both the both two guys at the end that did that Roadblock, I think it's because they're tall. Everybody else that did it were a little bit shorter, and I think it's the center of gravity allowed them to be able to balance a little bit better, because that was what the common denominator, I would say, with those two people not being good.
Yeah, tall people in balance is a lot harder, it seems, for tall people. I'm a taller person. My balance sucks. So, yeah.
It's so interesting because like I only know my own body and like what I've experienced. So it doesn't make sense to me that somebody would not be able to balance well. You know what I mean? I just don't understand that physically. I can conceptually understand it, but like I'm just like, well, just balance. Like, why? What's the problem? So I do find it interesting though, that height thing, you know? I'd love to be a little bit taller and see how my balance would be.
That's right.
Oh, but okay. So the Sikhs, though, they did end up taking a wrong turn though on the way there. So there was a little bit of drama there. Yes. But in the end, Skye-Blue and Jake are eliminated. And I wrote down, okay, so there's 4 teams left. Aren't there 4 episodes left?
Yes.
Or 5? Okay, so what's going to happen? So then they're going to have a non-elimination and then like a two-part
elimination, and then a two episode finale, sort of.
Or like maybe MJ and Chelsea coming back. I don't know.
New team.
So we're on episode 21. Final 4.
Wait.
What I forget?
So now Skye-Blue and Jake are gone, and I've won the draft.
I'm just gonna.
I finally won something here.
Did we put anything on it? Did we bet something?
No.
I lost my challenge draft. Even though I had the winner, I didn't have as many points because we did some points with like most kisses, most fights and stuff like that. And so my team was actually like the better competitors, but they weren't the messiest competitors. So I didn't end up winning the draft. So I did pay Michelle $50 because I lost. Both me and Fanta paid Michelle. So I'm happy that I don't have to pay you some of that what's his name, Justin Trudeau money. But
I'm actually shocked though, because the Cowboys haven't been great. I mean, they've been at the bottom a couple times. They've been pretty lucky with those non-eliminations, but I'm happy. Woohoo!
I mean, good job, honestly. Like I said this, I think it was yesterday, that I definitely have judged how I would judge them if they were American. And so the demeanors that they have and their characteristics and what they look like, I was more so picturing them as if they were American, had an American upbringing. And so I did not even think that the girl, like they weren't even your top picks, they were kind of near to the bottom, if I remember correctly. And so if I had known more of like how Australian women kind of grow up, I might have chosen them a little bit differently. And same with the Cowboys. They're usually displayed, the Cowboys in America or North America, kind of bumbling, like idiots, like never been out of this country. Like, just they don't seem to be that worldly or have that much life experience outside of wherever they grew up. And so that judgment on my part allowed me to not even want to consider them. The Sikhs were up there. I was interested in the Sikhs. I think I would have taken them next if you hadn't have taken them. And then I didn't. Chris and Aleisha were your first pick. And my counterpoint to Chris and Aleisha was Jordan and Violeta. They were kind of the same team. And you got the better of the similar couple type team, dancing couple team. So it definitely, me not knowing Australia allowed me to choose not as well as I probably could have. So next time we do Australia,
They said we're in the mood for a longer season.
No. Well, next time we will just start from the beginning, doing 4 seasons at a time, like 4 episodes at a time, because like
4 seasons. 4 seasons.
No. You're like,
I won't ever sleep again.
It's so long.
Oh
okay,
my god.
well, let's get to this final episode here that we covered this week. So episode 21. They're going to be going to Dubbo, and the girls said, like, oh my God, thank goodness we have this map. We've been waiting to use this map for a long time. So I'm really happy that these girls did their homework and they got maps of all the potential places that they could be going in Australia that have any sort of value or like just some significance. And so we learned that it was a benefit when they had to do that stair climbing task, because they already had read in some sort of guidebook about that feature of that tower. So I'm happy that they did some homework here. And I think that that's probably one of the reasons why they're doing so well, is that they got these maps.
They're smart. Like, it's not just strong. They're smart too. Like they are the TP right now. They're the total package.
Yes, they are. Definitely.
They totally are. Yes. They've got it all.
So they have to go.
Maybe they don't have luck. But they do seem to have pretty much everything else. Yeah.
Well, they found the needle in the haystack first.
That's true. That was
the first time they were actually lucky, I would say.
Yeah.
They're generally not that lucky, though. So Gale Break is where they have to go, and they have to escape their cell and avoid the guards from seeing them. And the guards can only walk forward, but if they see them, they have to go back to their cell. They got some mirrors that they were able to use to maybe, look at different angles to see if the guards were coming without being spotted. What did you think about this task?
Okay, so I've been mean about the challenges. This was one of my favorite challenges of the whole series.
So good.
I was actually, like, I had my headphones in, and I laughed every single time a guard caught one of them. Like, I don't know why, like, it's so silly, but every time, just the faces that they would make and everything, I'm like I was dying. I was laughing. It was so funny.
I know. I love this task. Like, going into a dark cell and finding out materials. I mean, they could have maybe done a little bit more with having some tools that they had to use to escape or whatever, instead of like the cell being unlocked. But I really thought that seeing them hide behind walls and like kind of running and escaping these guards, that like they don't really care. They're not real guards, and like everybody's just playing this role. Like, I thought it was funny. I would have been entertained and having fun doing this challenge as well. So I think I love that the girls took all the mirrors. Yeah, I mean, I guess they didn't say just take one, but they didn't really need them, really.
No.
So yeah, it was like so fun. So Ashley and Amanda were able to get out of here there first. I think they were caught one time that they showed anyways. And then when they were caught, when they were walking back to the cell, they were able to notice the flags where they needed to climb up and out. So they knew where they needed to go now. And so they went back to their cell. On their second try, it seems that they were able to escape. So they are going to be on their way. They have to answer the question, who's got the extractor? This is the roadblock. So who would have, between me and you, would have the extractor? You.
Me? Okay, all right. I've got the extractor.
Like, I don't think that I would be the tractor. Do you think that I would know how to drive a tractor?
Do I?
I mean, I don't know. You live in southern Ontario. I don't know. Isn't there tractors out there? Like wineries and stuff.
I think this would be okay. Let's try it.
You wouldn't have been confident in that. Well, you drive regular driving, right? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it would have been okay. I think as long as you learn how to. And I mean, they obviously told you how to do it. So yeah, I think it would have been okay.
Are you? Oh wait, so maybe I should do the extractor.
I'll do it. All right.
Okay. Okay, so while they're on their way to the X Tractor, we see everybody else like running around and doing this task, which was fun. I couldn't tell, but did they ever overlap? Like, could they see other teams there, or no, or was it like everybody had their own time? I can't fully remember.
For which one? For
the escape the cell.
The Sikhs saw the Cowboys when they were out on the course. They saw them get on the ladder. So
when
they
were
were able
caught.
to go at the same time. But I don't know if we actually saw them, too many people, like, hit each other, like, go to the same spot. So
like, did they, but they all started from the same cell, though, correct?
Yes.
Interesting. But yeah, I definitely love that task. I don't remember the order. I think the Cowboys left second. Then when did Chris and Aleisha leave?
Third.
And then the Sikhs were last.
Oh no, Chris and Aleisha left second. Chris and Aleisha got out pretty fast.
Oh, and there was everybody's surprise, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but then they got lost.
Right, of course. Like sometimes I'm rooting for them, and then sometimes I'm just like, like I don't know what it is with them. I don't know what it is. But however it happened, Brandon and Jackson ended up first at the tractor. And so they're super excited about doing that. I guess that they're familiar with working a tractor.
They finally got a farm task that was an actual farm task.
Right? It wasn't like, find this needle in this haze, find another grain of wheat, find the gluten in this pile.
Ride a toy horse.
Poor guy. Or like, yeah, it would be like, play with Lego pieces, tractor Lego pieces. So yes, you're right. So the girls and Chris and Aleisha all needed directions, but they both didn't think that they would have been that far behind. So they were surprised when they saw that the Cowboys had overtaken them and they were in first place. And I believe when they were driving there, is this the scene where Brandon and Jackson were ahead of the girls and they noticed the girls behind them and they're like, oh, like we're surprised. Was it there? So yes, Brandon Jackson got there first. I believe then the Gold Coast girls got their second, and then Chris and Aleisha were third. No, but then the Sikhs got their third. Chris and Aleisha were last. Oh my God, everything was upset. Man, they take a long time to get places sometimes. And so Brandon and Jackson, the Cowboys, they did it on their first try, it seems. And then Chris and Aleisha are at the roadblock at this point. And those two other teams go and ask the Cowboys where the next location is. And Aleisha is like, I'm going to go up there and see. They're going to scatter. So she's going to go and break them up, which is fine. It's a fair strategy. Break them up, because if you're not going to get the information, you shouldn't let them necessarily get it as well. But it also rubs those people the wrong way.
Yeah, it was so weird because, at that point, I started to then go back to being like, well, hold on, why they're being a little mean to Chris and Aleisha in some ways. I was like, there's 3 teams of you guys, and I don't know. I think what it is I just get this vibe that they don't respect Chris and Aleisha as a team, and I don't know. I think Chris and Aleisha at least deserve respect as a team. They've done things that are out of their comfort zone, and they've made it this far. Are they annoying? Yes.
I think so. I believe Amanda telegraphed it why they're most disliked, and that's for one of the reasons was because of what they did to the Cowboys at the detour at the intersection where they didn't eat the oysters, and they just basically were like, well, you eat them or let's take a penalty. And so something about what's their game is more important, and their values and their morals and how they consume food. And it's affecting completely another team, and that they don't value that other team for so we have to take a penalty now because of you. I think that self-righteousness is what is not appreciated by the other teams. And I'm sure, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so maybe other instances where this entitlement comes up that they probably are just are not a fan of. And so I'm sure that they've had more instances where like they are where the highway kind of came in, and like they're right, and it's just not really great to be around. And the Sikhs seem like really lovely people, and for them to be like not wanting to have Chris and Aleisha be part of their little group, it just shows to me that they're not the nicest people to everybody that's on the race. So I think that that's why they became the outcasts here. But yeah, obviously I don't like people necessarily ganging up on somebody else, but I'm sure that
I think it's a funny grudge for. I get it from the girls and the Sikhs. I guess it's a funny grudge to me for the Cowboys to be holding on to, considering one of the Cowboys also didn't do the oysters, and the other Cowboy did quit. So maybe if they had actually listened to Chris and Aleisha, they could have quit and actually got the cast done.
Or if Chris and Aleisha did their part and ate the whatever, and they wouldn't have been put in that situation where they had to do what they said and do the leg like they wanted to do without really taking any consideration of the other team. So
yeah, it's one of those like, should this have been the intersection, because it's a little bit morals thing, like this whole like I'm not going to eat animals thing could have really screwed the Cowboys, which I get. But I will also say that the one Cowboy didn't eat it. Like he ate one and said, I can't do this. So
well, but I think though
it wasn't much help either.
If though Chris and Aleisha were also eating, like maybe like if he didn't like it and wasn't going to eat it, like maybe he would just keep on opening them up and like making like making it easier for other people to eat. Like I think it's the fact that 3 and 1
we just kept saying
because one person on your team not being able to do it, fine, but 3 people on 2 teams, like that's too many. So Jackson didn't really have a problem with the tractor, and so they're going to be leaving first, and they're going to be going to the Prince of Wales Opera House that was built or opened in 1871. It's their oldest opera house, but probably not their most famous, says Beau. And so what they're going to do is tread the board, which I've never really heard that term before, but they're going to be learning a song word perfect and dressing up and singing it. So it's pretty easy. How did you feel about this task?
Great. I would have loved this. So that would have been easy. And I love because who gets there first? Don't the girls get there first and she gets like all into dressing up?
I don't think she gets there. Did she get there first? How's that possible?
Maybe they don't get there first. No, maybe they get there second, but they're really into the dressing up part.
Because why did I write the girls get it on their 5th try? Yeah, so the girls didn't. They took a long time to do it. I didn't write anybody. I didn't write down anybody finishing the tractor. So I guess I didn't care that much.
Well, they did it in order of arrival. The only thing that was interesting on the tractors was when Chris pulled the tractor in front of the Sikh's car.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, to slow the Sikhs down. Which, I mean, I guess it does slow them down a couple seconds, but that's like kind of like, what's the point? Who cares? But he was told to go on the road, so I guess like he didn't do anything wrong, but
So, they're just even if that's what they told them to do, like it does look like they're being a little bit deceitful and like not good game players and like sportsmanship. But that's their arc right now. Okay, so didn't write down everybody leaving that. I wrote down the girls got it on their 5th try. So I guess the Cowboys must have not have done a good job.
Try. Yeah. Or they took a longer to try. Like they were really listening to the song a lot longer. I think the girls listened to the song and just went for it.
So which is like what you said to do. And it's like they got in those tries so that maybe they didn't have to do 10. Yeah. So they get their next clue. It says you turn ahead. They're going to have to do a detour. It's going to be crack or corral. So for crack, disgusting, might I add, is that they have to eat 4 raw eggs of different sizes. So I guess starting with like maybe a quail egg, going up to like an ostrich egg and eating it raw. And then corral is they have to get, I thought they were ostriches, but they were actually emus. So they have to corral 10 of them into a pen. And I did some research. I looked up, I'm like, what's the difference between an emu and an ostrich? Because I didn't know that an emu is smaller, a smaller ostrich.
Yes.
And emus there's many more emus in Australia. Ostriches are not necessarily found there. So I learned something.
No, ostriches are from mainly in Africa, or when they're live, Africa. Emus, Australia, and then the smaller emu is a rhea.
I know Rhea because I used to do crossword puzzles all the time, and like that's always a crossword clue.
Yes,
always.
Yes.
Okay, so did the Cowboys get it before the girls? Because I wrote down the Cowboys planned on U-turning Chris and Aleisha, and they do end up getting there because they finished the eggs first, I guess. Or not the eggs first, the corralling first, I guess. Yes.
Yeah, but they get there before the girls get there. I think the girls must have got lost again.
The girls, they have a map.
Yeah.
They have a map. And so they're planning on U-turning Chris and Aleisha, especially because they don't eat eggs. They're vegans. And so the Cowboys, they corral the ostriches with no problem. I mean, if they're Cowboys, they're used to corralling. They had to use one of, I think, 10 different potential lures, we'll say. So the Cowboys were using it looked like it was a head of an elephant or something, some sort of mask.
They had
kangaroo.
The first one they did. Yeah, they had the bird on a stick, but they put that away quickly. And then I think it was a kangaroo or a donkey or something mask, and they were just hitting the mask, which for some reason got them to come see.
They're just turned on by that. This little emu. And so they U-turned Chris and Aleisha. They had no problem doing that. And I was like, so one thing though that was interesting, I don't remember when Chris and Aleisha say it, but they do say that they're the only teams that have not been in first and received the first class pass. So they actually have been running the entire race, which is an interesting fact.
Yeah, and very true. That's very true. They're the only ones, and as two people who have not enjoyed the first class pass, that does mean at least a little bit of something to us. I think, not that we're rooting for them, but that is that when you look at the race, you do. If you were asked, would you rather the people run the whole race or not? We would probably both say, yeah, we'd rather they run the whole race. So, yeah, I know that's interesting.
Because it does make me root for them a little bit more, knowing that they actually have done, and they've done more of tasks. They've had to do more detours. Yeah. And so they really have run this race. Without having all these extra little benefits. So it makes me root for them a little bit more because they've had a harder route. So the Cowboys, they are on their way to the pit stop and they get there first. So they're going to get a video call from home and also a $5,000 5G pack. I'm not sure what that is, if they're getting money or if it means that they have like credit out of something. I'm not sure. New phone and an unlimited lifetime.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe that was what it was.
Wasn't sure what the $5,000 was, but they were happy about getting their phone calls from home. They both are new parents, and so that might give them an extra push that they need to get to the end and win because they're securing their spot right now in the next episode.
Yes.
And so the seats are.
I'll say this. I'll say that I actually felt more attached to their call than anybody that I got a phone call on the Circle this week. From home. Video call from the Circle.
I loved Aleisha and Trevor's call.
Aleisha and Trevor's call? Did Tara Aleisha call Trevor?
No, well, she got a call from like the Trevor and the baby.
Oh, Trevor. Oh, yes, Trevor. Yes.
I love
was a
that.
Nice call. With the
and
baby.
like
With the baby.
The baby's so cute.
That
was
cute. Okay, I'll give it to them.
That phone call made me super rooting for Trevor, like Trevor Catfish.
Oh yeah.
So, I disagree. But okay, fine.
No, I'll put that one first, and then the Cowboys, because I didn't feel like I got they got phone calls, but I've been like, it's only been 3 weeks. This has been going on for like years.
Well, I think that the girls actually mentioned that they've been running the race. I think they only said 5 weeks, maybe. They said it was less than I was expecting. I was like, that's it? What? Like, haven't you been gone for 6 months?
Wow.
I feel like it was less than 2 months that they had been running it. But I said the girls had a map for 7 weeks. I just saw it where I wrote it down. So they've been running the race for 7 weeks. So less than 2 months.
2 months. Wow.
So the Sikhs get to the eggs, are fourth at the eggs. What? Oh, no, at the fourth egg. Sorry. So the Sikhs do the eggs. And I couldn't even watch it because I think that that's the most disgusting type task there can be. The consistency of raw eggs is so vile that like I was watching it and I was gagging. It's so disgusting. Phil, that would be all you. Bottomless pit, go for it. Have you done it before?
I can do that. I can do that for sure. But another food challenge.
Different though.
Yes.
Did it remind you of? I think you'll get this reference. Well, okay, actually, maybe you can guess. What did the eating the egg remind you of? People of our age would probably know.
Oh my God! Tell me.
Stand by Me.
Oh yeah.
When he ate the egg before the pie contest, and then it was just like projectile purple pie vomit, blueberry pie. Anyways, like I see that. That's all it reminds me of is the like after I was like, oh, it's so gross. So that's what it reminds me of. Stand by Me. Eating the egg yolk beforehand. It's so gross. I was gagging. It's disgusting. So Aleisha doesn't think, because she sees now that they got the U-turn, she doesn't think that the boys are thinking with their brains. They should have U-turned the girls. And I was like, it just seemed a little bit of jealous boots, Yeah. I get it. I think it's true that they should have U-turned the girls, but there's something, it is still a social game, right? You want to be running the game with people that you like some of the times, and you can't help it but want to be in the finals with your friends. Like it's just human nature to want to be around people that you like. And so regardless of, her insinuating that they aren't making a smart decision because they're attracted to these women, like that's also kind of taking away.
We haven't really felt that. We haven't felt that that's like something that's happening. Like
no, I mean it's more like they would rather not be running the race with you. They don't want you to potentially win. They would rather lose to the girls than lose to you. Like that's where the facts are. And so it kind of made me irritated that she was insinuating that just because they're pretty girls is the only reason why that they're U-turning them and they're not thinking smart. It's like they're just thinking with who they enjoy. Right. And they don't enjoy you. So first to the mat, we said, was the Cowboys. Second to the mat were the Sikhs. Chris and Aleisha finally corralled the emus, and then they head over to do the eggs. And surprisingly, Chris did all the eggs. It took them over an hour to do, but he did do the eggs. So what makes me believe is that Aleisha is the vegan and Chris maybe converted to kind of appease and live the same lifestyle as his partner, his wife, but maybe he's not as like strict about his veganism as Aleisha is. But he does end up doing it, so I am happy that he did it. I'm not. They never really stated what their moral stance is around why they're vegan. So I don't know if it was a huge, big moral decision or if it was just a choice.
She did say that this episode, she did say something about it being about making animals are not like meant to be produced and consumed for humans. They're meant to live or something like that. Like they're not meant for us to use. So that's her stance on it. So. Yeah.
But also, though, anyways, I could argue. I mean,
other animals eat other animals, so I don't know.
Exactly, survival of the fittest. I generally eat vegan. I call myself veganish. Sometimes I eat fish. I was full vegan for years. But I also took classes in university, like animal mind, human morals. Like, so I kind of can understand like both sides of it. But I can also understand that winning a lot of money is really useful if you want to do some sort of actionary work that would support your cause here. And so I might jeopardize maybe my stance and have these egg yolks in order to win the money, in order for me to make a difference. So I would compromise my morals in those situations. So
right.
That's just me here. But like I'm sorry guys, I would eat a burger for a McDonald's commercial. I would do it. I won't do it. I won't buy one on my own. And I'm sorry that I'm contributing to, people consuming and eating it. But I also think that I could do a lot better with the money that I would be provided. And so it's worth it for me. So that's the stance on veganism-ish. I can talk for a long time about it. So they didn't want to get a penalty on the next leg. So would that have been a thing? Like, how would that have worked to get a penalty on the next leg? That's the first time they've really ever mentioned that.
Well, I think they knew, based on how things were going, that this was going to be a non-elimination. So maybe they didn't know what the time amount would be for not completing the task thing. But they were willing to get a time penalty 2 episodes ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's kind of weird. I don't know. That part then makes me now, because you see that you go, well, so was it more about messing up the Cowboys than it was about the issues? Or maybe Chris said I can do eggs, but I can't do the mussels. I don't know. Or the oysters, whatever it was. Like, I don't know. It was weird that he did it.
Well, I think, you know what? It actually 100% was because they were on the intersection, because both those teams, if they didn't complete it, they would both be incurring the same penalty if there was a penalty that would happen. But if they don't do this one, they're on their own there. They would be the only team that would get some sort of penalty, and they wouldn't be let off the hook, I don't think. I think they'd be coming last. Non-elimination, and maybe they would. They probably asked producers actually. Yeah. Probably like, what happens if we don't?
In that case, I would say I would then turn it and go, you know what? No, the Cowboys are right to be a little bit upset about that. So
absolutely, if I see that they did it after, I would be pissed, being like, you were willing to jeopardize our position in the game for your morals, but you weren't willing to do it for yourself. Like I would have been furious.
Yeah.
Furious.
But they did U-turn them now, so it should be all kiboshed.
Well, now it's in for good reason, right? Now it's
definitely.
Like,
now the Cowboys need to focus on winning. Like, that would be my advice to the Cowboys. Would be like, now you're at 2 legs. Forget about Chris and Aleisha right now. Just focus on winning.
So Aleisha said that she won't kiss Chris now, but she's really proud of him because he has egg yolk in the mouth. It's a little extreme, don't you think?
That's a little cross-contamination, I guess. I don't know.
I guess, but like, is it about like eating it, or is it about the moral stance behind? Like, it's not. I don't know. Anyways, I would probably still kiss my partner if they ate meat.
I would think
once for a challenge. Anyways,
for you, whatever. After they eat it for you,
right? And you're just sitting there watching them, being like, So at this time, though, it's still cutting to the girls at the corralling, and they end up using the eucalyptus leaves, and the emus finally run over. All I was saying, though, I wrote down, like, there is no way that that Chris and Aleisha are eliminated. There's absolutely no way. They're going to be last. The girls get there in third place. And especially since that they ate these eggs and there was a U-turn, because it seems like if there's a U-turn, there's going to be a non-elimination. I was like, there is no way that they're going to be eliminated. And we were right. It's a predetermined non-elimination leg. But Bo says that it was the bravest thing that he has ever seen in the history of the race. And I believe it was Chris eating those eggs. So did he get footage of this? Or did he watch it? Or did someone just tell him? Because he says seen. And was it that brave?
Well, I don't know if eating eggs is the most bravest thing in the world. So.
Well, so
I think, I would say maybe a firefighter maybe has done something a little bit more brave. Maybe a police officer.
Well, on the race. He said on the race.
On the race. Well, maybe. I don't know.
I think even like that skywalking thing was more bravery would take than eating the egg yolk. I mean, it's disgusting, but anyways, that was the end of these 3 episodes. We are still at our final 4. I can imagine next episode, episode 22. Is it 24 or 25 episodes? Are you kidding me? There can't be 25.
24. So we got 3 more to go. Yeah. Oh, I do have to say, because we were talking about Bo, I did laugh, not this pit stop, but the pit stop before, when he asked the guy if he had ever ridden, he was going to ask if he had ever ridden a cow before, but he said, have you ever ridden a cowboy before, to the pit stop?
I didn't hear it.
And the pit stop greeter called him out and said, wait, what, a cowboy?
I think I remember the person, but I didn't clock what was being said there.
Yeah.
It went. So yes, we're still at our final 4. So I'm assuming episode 22 will be an elimination, and then a 2-part finale for 23-24. Is my guess. I agree with you. So do we have a survey that we want to kind of blow through right now?
This is the last survey.
Aww.
This is the last one. All right. So, did you enjoy this season of The Amazing Race Australia?
Enough. Is that an option?
But sure, yes or no, but enough. Okay. Looking at the final 4, do you think all teams are worthy of winning?
Yes, 100%.
I agree with that. Which of the final 4 teams do you want to see win?
I think I want the girls to win at this point, especially with now there's 7th first. No, wait, the Cowboys. Who went first right there?
Yeah, it's no, but the leg before was their 7th. So yeah,
so
they
7 wins. Like, I think that's just like really impressive. So let's see if they can get the win that counts. So I would like to see them win. I love obviously seeing girl teams. And I find it interesting. Well, depending on who gets eliminated next, but if there's like girl team, guy team, and a mixed sex team, that would be interesting to see in the finals how that shakes out. But we don't know who's going to be out 4th. Right. So yeah,
I would agree. That's who I would want to see win as well. Which of the final 4 teams do you think will win?
I didn't look at the preview, so I don't know what the kind of tasks there are. I wouldn't be surprised if Chris and Aleisha did it because they're so resilient. And depending on the tasks, they could have things that are in their favor.
I am going to put it out there that I do think the girls are going to win.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I want them to, and I'm going to put it out there. I think that they're going to. So.
I'm happy with that. I'm just kind of putting out something different. But if they win, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. Yeah. After hearing, this is the last question. After hearing our podcasts and all we've talked about, do you think Chantele and Phil should apply to be on The Amazing Race?
So cute. It's going to say yes. They're going to say it
Well, I
first.
think Chantele should, but I don't know. Phil seems to have a lot of problems.
It's very cute.
It would at least be funny to watch.
It would be, I mean, I think it would be good. I think it would make good TV, and I think we could do a good job. Well, I'll think about it more, and we'll discuss it maybe more if we have time next week. But I'm going to be on Rob as a podcast in 15 minutes, so I'm going to have to, settle this up. So, what are you promoting? What's going on in your life right now, Phil, that you want to share with the people?
Well, I will say that at Good Time Games with Adam and Phil on Facebook, if you want to connect with us, we are launching our next tag game, which will be taking place on May 15th, which is a Saturday. And this one will be, you will find a partner. We're celebrating International Family Day. So you'll pick a family partner to play with. One person will walk away winning cash, and it's a fun one-night online social strategy elimination game. Lots of fun.
Sweet. Sounds like a good time. And you guys know the drill by now, but I'll just remind you again, please do us a big favor and subscribe now to Reality Realness with 3 S's. When we do the draw at 1,000 subscribers, I'm over 1,000 subscribers, but I still have to wait for to be approved by YouTube. So once it's approved, that's when I'll do the draw for a $100 gift certificate to Amazon. And if you're in Canada, I'll get a email transfer. So let's just keep on going, because they're going to be combing through, taking out any bots or people that they don't think are actual fans. And so let's make sure this number is strong, and let's get there. Let's get monetized so I can give these people a lovely gift, my friends here, and then also give you guys for supporting me for this last year, all of us, on our journey. So please subscribe, share this with your friends, take a screenshot, send it to Reality Realness with 3 S's, and I will enter you in a live draw that we'll be doing very, very soon, within the next month. So please help us out. Love y'all.